the vision's important. I think having some encouragement so you're not alone, that's critical. I think we've made it pretty clear that absolutely expect adversity or messes or that somehow, some way, this is going to be thwarted.
Right.
Things are going to come against this. If you can establish that from the beginning, the rules of Fight Club or the rules of engagement, that hey, here's our 3 words, and here's the 5 or 6 things that we want to frame how we how we do this.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast. Michael Thompson hanging out with S.J. Jennings and Josh Overton. I just feel like I want to put you in your car seat.
Yeah, it's just...
It just feels like a car. There we go.
Protected.
Tell us now.
Yeah, get the light on him. I had somebody point out to me this past weekend, we were at a DFG men's summit, and he said, "Man, I love listening to the podcast, but I got to point out kind of a point of order. Michael introduces you as S.J. Jennings, and your name is, the S.J. stands for Scott Jennings, so isn't it Scott Jennings when he says that?" I'm like, I hadn't really thought about that. So what do you say? Just S.J.? Am I just S.J.? I don't know. Am I S.J. Jennings, or is it
Jennings.
S. Jennings? Right? I don't know. It's confusing. But
is it?
Sorry I've taken up so much time.
This is a great example as we talk about men's initiatives, men's circles for men, men's groups, men's ministry. Yeah, man, start with some of that stuff.
Right.
Start with,
break the ice.
Some banter.
Yeah. Get the wrestling matches going between the men over there.
Fire them
their
up.
Favorites. Who are their favorites? Speaking of favorites, we had an incredible time, and love our weekends. Love what we get to do in an intense few days rather than kind of the weekliness we see in small groups or counseling, that's good too. But just loved what we got to do in our advance, and the guys that went to Montana, the guys that are showing up in West Virginia later this month, which I think when this airs, we'll have had that one. So yeah, but environments for men to connect, to find a sense of belonging, to be able to care and be cared for.
Yeah.
And so this series has been tremendous. I've enjoyed us getting to talk about the many years of experience we've had, things that we'd have done different, things that came against what we were trying to do as we wanted to create spaces for men. And so without any review, this is what number?
This is episode 4.
The 4th episode of this. So yeah, the first 3 I'll stand by. I think they are on point. But we thought in this episode we'd talk a little bit more about some particulars, how-tos, and they all overlap, right? Yeah. Josh, I think the culture and what you're inviting them to, as we've talked about, but then what they experience when they're there, and facilitating it. I think it's good to have a little plan.
Sure.
I think it's good to have some kind of objectives that can either be communicated or advertised or even declared, from the beginning. The rules of Fight Club.
Yeah, or they're really more like guidelines versus
a code,
policies,
a
right?
code.
I mean,
Mhm.
but some guardrails, right, on the road that we're going to travel together.
And you got to cover those for the, if it's a handout or the first few weeks, hey, here's how we want to roll. And I think those are, so that's what we're going to get into in this Exploring More podcast. When we come back, we'll be right back after this quick break.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us today on the Explore More podcast. I want to take just a second. I'm curious, as you've been listening to these episodes around men's ministry and starting groups, did you feel the tug? Possibly that's why you click play to begin with. Well, my name is Josh Overton. I'm the Zoe Allies Director, which is our national network of boots on the ground men just like you who are fighting for the hearts of others and committed to friendship and mission. And on December the 10th, we're going to be hosting a Zoe Allies Roundtable and inviting men just like you that are interested in becoming an ally, interested in starting a group, to connect with existing allies, as well as our team, myself, Michael, and SJ. And that's going to be on December the 10th at 8:00 p.m. You can sign up. It'll be an online event that we do through zoe.org/allies. Now that starts at 8, but I want to invite you to join us at 7:30 for the pre-show, which will give us a little more time to just connect, lean into some story, hear more about you. And we'll be doing some giveaways as well. So that 8:00 we can just jump right into the meeting, where you can expect hearing about all the things that Zoe offers to help, the encouragement, the tools, the equipment, the resources, the network, the friendship, as well as hearing some next steps on what you can do. We want to help. We're here for you. So email me if you have any questions at allies@zoe.org. And if not, we'll see you on December the 10th.
Welcome back to the Exploring More podcast, where, we're going to talk about Kansas City Chiefs where we're going to talk about, a little bit more about the how-to in men's initiatives, men's ministry. You kick us off, Josh. You sent out an invitation to some of our allies and friends to share some of their thoughts, and one of the men we love,
man. So
sent us back some good.
Yeah, so just a quick story to lead into this. This was Saturday night in Montana at our advanced weekend. A lot of things to sort through, and we talk about what's in the journals, right? The journals that we hand out. This guy had a lot of pages in the journal of his heart that he was going through for the weekend. It was great to see. But we're having a conversation, myself, SJ, and this individual. And he says the words, man, I want to be used in men's ministry. I want to be used in men's ministry. And we kind of joke a little bit on the team. SJ and I kind of stepped in. I was like, well, let's just talk about that for a second, right? Like, no one wants to be used, but God wants to partner with you in what you've experienced and your story and your passion and all the things we've just spent the first 3 episodes of this series talking about. God wants to partner with that. Absolutely. And so we had some great conversation around the fire about that. But I sent him a text before this podcast and just prompted him, hey, unpack that with me right now. And then I'm going to share it with the guys on the podcast. When you said that, what did you mean? Why did you say it, right? So this was his response. He says, the biggest takeaway for me was watching a grown man be heartbroken and pouring out his brokenness because someone was refusing to do what I was pridefully choosing to do, which was withholding forgiveness. And I wanted to see him better, more than I wanted to hold on to this self-inflicting pain of unforgiveness. So I made a move to give him hope, talking about this guy, moved towards releasing some of his own unforgiveness.
Yeah, he's talking to himself,
right,
about himself.
In hopes that this guy would see hope in that, right? So he made a move. I didn't do it for fluff or poetic validation. It was true. It was abrupt, but it felt right. The men there took me in as a peer, not as a snot-nosed punk, LOL, because he's younger than most of the guys he was with. That alone was divine validity. It was validating. I heard things that I've only heard sparingly, wise beyond your years. I had men now 20 years older than me who were calling me to check in, to see what I'm into, what I need. And he said, I was impressed with how fast men want to get to the darkest pit of their own version of hell. Some men float around and wait last second to uncover their fear and cover. But I'm a big fan of getting there immediately or as fast as we can so we can get past the formalities and start clearing trenches. So, I mean, just a lot there to unpack with his own impact and story, what happened to him. But my initial response, and you guys jump in, is I loved that he was able to see visually. I mean, when you see a light bulb go off or the prison door break open, shackles come off, when you see that, it is absolutely inspiring. And I love that his response to that was, man, I'm in. I'm in for setting up environments. I'm in for
more of that.
More of that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I thought it was beautiful for sure.
Thanks, Josh, for that. And thank Enoch. I want to take 2 steps back as we start to put some of the framework to how to do this and say that so much of that text commentary came from, I believe, a place that we choose to start with men as often as we can in allies, in base camp, and at our events. And it's start with story.
Yeah.
I mean, Enoch did not say, man, the way those guys unpack the Greek, or, oh my gosh, I haven't heard anybody exegete Ephesians 6 like that before. Not that those aren't.
You're going to get us in trouble, man.
Worthy.
No, those are good things. Those are good
I know.
things, but it doesn't
I
provoke
know.
that.
I know.
That's
I
exactly
know.
right.
I know,
I
yeah.
mean, and
I know
if
you're not saying that.
And if Enoch had said those things, then great. You could have easily assumed what he had attended. You know, probably a Bible study. And I think if you're going to plot a course for this, if you want to touch the hearts of men like that, I'm just saying it's not even a secret sauce, but the thing we found to be non-negotiable is story.
100%.
And so if you want to get a bunch of men together, you could post Ephesians. We're going to go through Ephesians, or we're going to do a book or something like that. But I think that what happened in that weekend and what happens at all of our weekends, and even when we're trying to establish in the culture, I think of our East and West groups, we're asking those men to respond to the paragraphs with, how does this look in your life? What's going on in your life? Tell me a story. And because the material often in our books and others takes people back into some of their journey, and when we can set a precedent, even by coordinating, facilitating, guiding, by saying, I remember, on page 65, this paragraph made me recall, and then tell your story, something that happened to me, how it made me feel, what it did to me. And so I think that's where, you could read it again. And I think even to know how much those men's opinions mattered to Enoch.
Yeah.
He knew them
Over the course of 3
3
days.
and a half days.
Right.
Right. And that what I was going to say to what you opened up with that is, because I know him, and I think he is a great representation for so many men, believers, that are wrestling with this. That guy doesn't need another sermon. Like, Enoch, smart, his wit is pristine, and he knows, like, he's a student. He's a student of, it wasn't a sermon. It was a sermon lived out, right? It was story. And I think as you opened up with your initial comment of, we've got to have a plan. And yes, we're going to get to a resource, a curriculum, content for sure. I think the reason we went with this, that I was excited to share it, is, man, yes, go through the content. We how many sessions did we lead there? 9 sessions?
In total.
Ish. So, we had plenty of teaching. but also plenty of
Yeah.
story.
They had almost as much time to not talk about the sermons that we gave, but to talk about some of the assignments that they were given. And they were questions about their lives, about their walk with God, about who they are in the kingdom. You know, SJ, so when I think about traditionally, and I've probably done it, so I just want to add my name to the culprits. But there's only one time in the course of most weekly men's groups that you give a man a few minutes, and it's we're going to go around the circle and everybody introduce themselves.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it's just a slim possibility that some guy might, in the course of the objectives of the men's group, which is obviously to have my Bible study read or my resource read and my answers, filled out. I mean, if that's the way, most of it has gone, I'm just saying that's probably what I did. And the only time I let men tell their story at all, which is not it's their bubblegum card. It's their statistical. Are you married? How many kids you got? What do you do? How'd you find the church? A little bit, just a little bit. And then we move on into academics and curriculum.
You're making me think about our Monday group, because the way that we start it each week, or actually we're every other week, is just how you doing? Like, how's your heart? What's been going on? Because 2 weeks is a pretty good amount of time.
You're doing every other week.
Yeah, every other week. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we meet on Monday, then we're off for a Monday, then we're back for a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So the distance between those Mondays,
lots can happen.
There's a lot of life that happens, right? We've got kids, some of us, we've got careers, we've got other people in our lives, we've got stuff going on. We're talking to the Holy Spirit, talking to God about some things. We're studying the Bible. We're reading a book. The enemy's on us, on our asses all the time. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Yeah. That's why we've been in King Me, and we're on chapter 9 after 2.5 years.
My favorite group.
I mean, really, man. And so releasing yourself from the idea that, well, we're reading a book, so we got to get through the book.
Yeah. And if you even remember what the guys shared 2 weeks ago.
Oh, gosh. Yep.
You could just, hey, man, how's your daughter?
Right. Give us the update.
Or what happened? What's going on with your mom?
Yep. Our leader,
as you
our
get
facilitator, Jevin, is great at that. I mean, but all of our guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to take a second and hear from Kent, because he had knee surgery. And how's he? Oh, yeah, Kent, how's your knee? I mean, so we do that collectively, but we've been together a while. So it takes a bit to kind of get out of that mindset of, okay, we're going to meet, we're going to pray, we're going to go through a book of the Bible, and then we're going to pray and we're going to leave. And that's not a bad thing, but I don't think it's the best thing.
So I want you to, here's a pop quiz. So how many guys would you say you started with 2.5 years ago? And what's the percentage or the number that's still in it?
Yeah, I think there's
always some attrition. I get that.
Yeah, there's 3 guys that have moved on, but we've added 2.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. And the number,
I got to go around the horn here. So Jevin, Kent, Charles.
They sit in the same spots, right?
Yeah. SJ, Rob, Joe, and Alan, and so we're at like 7 or 8 guys.
Great, that's a great size.
Yeah, sometimes 9.
All I want to bring up about this is that this is a group of friends now. This is a group of friends, and that is the objective.
Right. I'm camping with Jevin this weekend.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I know your wives know each other.
Yeah.
And have connection. I mean, but I think, Josh, if you could just speak to that a little bit, because I think if you're going to do this, I would say at the top, story and friendship.
Sure. Which, in case you haven't really picked up on it, let's all look into the camera and say it. And that is, hey, especially if you're part of a church, I think a church is probably the most, it fits this statement the most, because it typically has a certain rhythm. They have a way they want, your church. I did it. I've been in church ministry since I was 20. So I get having semesters and timelines, and I get that. So
Structure.
there is a structure.
Yeah.
And so I would say, honor the house that you're in. There's still some great 10, 12 week, 14 week, 6-week studies that we offer and that's out there that I would encourage you to go through.
Engage with them, yeah.
But understand that you will have to adjust your expectation if your heart is hungry for what we've been talking about today in the last couple of weeks. The best place for that might not be your church's system for small groups. That's okay.
Or if I can jump in,
Yeah.
It's okay, 2.5 years, 9 chapters. Those first 4 or 5 chapters went pretty quick. Sure. Because our culture in the group was not to be so vulnerable and transparent about what we're struggling with. But as the group has become more and more consistent and known by one another and safe for one another, the guys feel more able to share. So even in that culture and in that system that you're talking about, if the underlying mission for you as a leader is ultimately to have the questions answered that we all have, do you see me? Do you love what you see? Do you want to be with me? Yeah. Then you got to start someplace. Sure. And a curriculum is a great place to start.
Right. And now you guys can't not meet, right?
Right.
You can't not meet.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just, I don't know if we've ever really said it on a podcast format, but I think that's okay. Mm-hmm. We want to help get this in as many hands as possible. And again, from base camp to other things we've created, YouVersion plans. We've got so many things that can be crafted to fit your rhythm, whatever that rhythm is.
Yeah.
I think the point that we're really trying to make, though, is, man, to get to that place where SJ is with his group, it's probably going to take longer than 8 weeks.
Right.
It's probably going to take more than just getting through a chapter a week. There's got to be space for all these other things. And so what does that look like for you, and giving yourself permission to explore that and pray through that? And and that's why we're here.
Right.
That's why we're here.
One great example of it outside the church is the barn.
Yeah.
It's
over in Charlotte,
51 weeks a year, Tuesday nights. I think of the AA community where you can go to a meeting in any city, in any place. It's grown to that kind of initiative, of that kind of a presence in AA. But that's Tuesdays at the barn, and they go through all kinds of stuff. They bring, and they go through stuff again. Mm-hmm. They have a couple. I think there's at least one that's an annual. We're going to do our annual trek through this, because they know that of the 30, 35, the attrition, the 40, 50 guys that come, there's new guys that haven't gone through that.
Yeah.
The other one that I think of is our friends at Southbrook in Dayton. They have their AM, and these guys almost get the tattoos.
Oh yeah, there's a rivalry.
AM and PM.
Yeah.
AM and PM, which are, so you're in men's group, which I haven't seen you. Yeah, I'm in PM. Oh, you're a PM guy.
Yeah.
The AM guys say. But, I think these are two great examples of, they've been in it a long time. They've been, I'm not sure success is the word we're after, impactful. And I go back to something we said earlier, and I'm going to ask you guys, I think back to the vision. So if you have a vision for this as the coordinator, as a facilitator, I think you need to come up with 3 words that what is the vision?
Your coordinates.
Yeah. So just off the top of your mind, what would be three words that you feel like would be cast vision for, like, well, why are we doing this? What are we doing this for? I'm glad you asked.
Camaraderie.
I was going to go now.
Oh, okay. Was one of your words?
No.
Okay, well, I'll keep it then. Go ahead.
You can have it. The 3 that I've always centered around, man, was adventure, growth, and journey.
Those are great.
Adventure, growth, and journey.
Then you can write a sentence or paragraph about each one of those. But but to say, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
This is about adventure, growth, and journey. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you? What are?
Yeah, I mean, camaraderie is one that I use because there's more to it than just being together. That's a part of it, but it's journeying together. That word means journeying together to me. But then it's also, I think of Band of Brothers, when one of the guys was made to go back up the hill,
Currahee.
and he was running alone at first, and then in this trial, in this difficult moment in his training, it was basically, if you don't make it up and back in a certain amount of time, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up to help him.
Yeah.
They showed up, and that's what camaraderie means to me. And yeah, man, I mean, so that's one of my words.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I like journey. I like that a lot. Friendship, journey, and freedom would be three that would come to mind this moment. Ask me tomorrow,
Right.
and
Sure.
two of the three might change. But yeah, I mean, we think about this when we bring title and language to some of our resources. Orientation, warfare, life of more. On and on
Yeah.
and on. So I think those are really significant. If you're going to have a vision for this, I think 3 words and what those words mean to you as you invite friends. And I like what you said. Somehow, something about the house that you're in. What did you say?
Just honoring the house,
Honoring the house that you're in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think some of these, your vision needs to be able to be put on at least a half of a document to be able to then put it to the people that you need to honor their house and say, this is what I'd like to do. Can I have a room?
Yeah.
Can I have a space? And can
Space to
can I
gather.
do it here?
Right. Right.
And so I think that's another reason to kind of start to organize
Sure.
your plan and make a presentation. I wouldn't say it's indefinite, but I would definitely say, when you're initially
We're gonna
starting,
see how it goes.
yeah,
It's a
8
great
weeks,
term.
8 weeks, 14 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
that kind
Gonna
of
see
thing.
how it goes.
So
Yeah, I think too, Michael, the thing that occurred to me was, just to be fully transparent with our listeners, and this is kind of a gross analogy, but how the sausage gets made, like everybody loves a good
Hot dog.
hot dog or that until you've watched it get made. But there's a reality to what we're talking about and how fantastic it is and how redemptive it is and how honestly beautiful it is when you're known and know another person, another man that way, and that deep brotherhood connection happens. It is a mess.
it's fragile.
It's, I mean, yes, fragile, but it can be messy, especially early on, because if you're bringing, now we have the benefit, all the guys in our group have been to at least to one encounter. They have read the book, The Heart of a Warrior.
Yeah.
They speak this language that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
So when I talk about the false self being provoked, they know what I mean.
Right.
Right. So, and I would never say it that way when someone's kind of, their false self is getting out of the cage. Man, I think your false self has been provoked, but we know what is happening. Well, we can all kind of see it and recognize it because we have training, right?
Yeah.
At least to some level, some experience. So
Yeah.
when people get together, man, and their false self is provoked, or somebody's got some kind of an agenda that you don't know about, but they're coming to your group. I mean, it just can get messy in a hurry.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. It's not easy. But at the same time, I just want to offer up, Zoe, Josh in particular as the Allies director. If you need somebody to talk to about how it's gotten messy in your group, we're here because we have a lot of experience between us.
let me swing at that. So I was going to circle back as you were sharing about your group and the freedom you've both felt and fostered for your guys to take their time through the content, through their stories, through their messiness, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you said, it took a couple weeks to kind of get going and settled, and now 2 years in.
Mm-hmm.
So I can hear that, and then tacking that onto what you just said about the messiness, but I could hear that and say, well, I don't know that I could do that. I don't know if I'm equipped to do that. If I'm trained, I don't know if I mean, give
How
me
do I
a
handle
give me a
that?
script. I can run the script. Right? I can read the
Mhm.
script.
Mm-hmm.
So all that to say, in responding to your messiness and wanting to offer who we are, I know you guys saw the promo earlier in the podcast, but December the 10th, that's the stuff we want to talk about.
Right.
Not talk about it, but then also showcase and offer how we're here to help. You know, not just me, Michael, SJ, how our team is here to help provide training. And at the end of the day, man, like, to get training, you got to get in the game. Like, you just got to wade into it, right?
Right.
You learn from doing it. And so what is that? What is not just provoking you and inviting you to step into it, but what's stopping you from stepping into it? So we want to talk about all that. That's what December the 10th is going to be about. So I want to make sure we just plug that one more time.
Sure.
So, yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the vision's important. I think having some encouragement so you're not alone, that's critical. I think we've made it pretty clear that absolutely expect adversity or messes or that somehow, some way, this is going to be thwarted.
Right.
Things are going to come against this. And again, if you think that it's anything with skin on, you're that guy's not the enemy, and that guy is probably not the problem, but the things that are coming from that guy, that is a line that you're going to have to address. And so, if you can establish that from the beginning, the rules of Fight Club or the rules of engagement, that, hey, here's our 3 words, and here's the 5 or 6 things that we want to frame how we how we do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ask just what a few of those things are in which to have an understanding. So if you get a new guy 3 weeks in, give him the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Bill brought him,
Yeah.
hey, Bill, make sure you go over the sheet with Bob.
Right.
As you collect their emails and collect their phone numbers so that you can communicate a little bit, I would say, and hey, if you want to bring another guy, great. But getting a new guy into an established circle is a challenge unless there's an agreement by the group, in the season that they're in, that, hey, we're going to start a new thing. Let's all invite a couple guys and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than, kind of mid journey and something that a guy's missed. I always feel bad for that guy. And I'm also excited for that new guy.
Yeah.
It's 8 weeks and he's dropping in,
Yeah.
and whoa, because
You're getting dropped into Holland.
Is it attractive to him? Is he so glad to be there?
Yeah.
Is it, this is what I've been looking for? Or is it, whoa,
really tough position
so,
to be in many ways.
Many ways. Yeah. You go ahead though.
No,
Back to
I was just going to say, I think that's one of the first things that I have learned, through my experience, has been this pull. Maybe some of it's my church and evangelical upbringing of just no man left behind, right? And so, but what I've experienced in this setting is it might be better to have an open period where you're inviting, you're recruiting, hey, bring your friends, but then once you get into it, stay the course with the guys who are on the boat. Now, if you got a guy bleeding out, man, of course, we're going to stop and and do what we can to move towards him. But I'm saying I love what you just said of having seasons, ebbs and flows of when you openly invite guys to join and when you just kind of close up the door and you go to war with the guys you got for a season.
Yeah, I
think there's a lot of benefit to that.
No question about it, man.
Yeah.
No question about it. And you might start and not ever open it again. I know groups that have gone like that, and we went along that way for a little while, and then a couple guys departed because they moved and stuff like that, and God brought another guy along, Jermaine. So I'm so glad he's a part of our group now. But the other thing, and I saw you write it down, but I'm going to steal it from you. We've got a great resource, the tenets of Redemptive Brotherhood. That's just a great place to start, even before you get into what are we going to go through, what are we going to read, what are we going to talk about.
Andy will post that.
Yeah, there's some tenets of Redemptive Brotherhood that are, very, and I think we've covered a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they're very helpful. And take that document and do with it as you will. If you read through it and like, I don't really like this one. But here's one they didn't think of. I'm going to add it in. Great. But it's kind of a
charter.
It's kind of a code.
It's a charter. And if make a moment with it. Have everybody sign it and frame it and put it in your meeting.
Yeah, you don't have to do the Boy Scout thing. On my honor, I will do my best.
But do it.
But you might.
Yeah,
and if it was me, honestly, if it was me starting out, and that's a great question. I'd love to ask both of you. If you were starting a group tomorrow, right? But if it was me, I would spend a week or two talking about this 100%. Because again, if you go back to episode 1 and 2, it's not just the context and culture you want to set. We're also talking about the context and culture that we're coming from, that we've experienced. So we're talking all about that. And then even better than a couple weeks would be if you could take a day or two, a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and just go capture story with one another.
Yeah, for a longer period of time.
Give each guy a couple hours to really get into his story, and a couple hours for each man to listen to one another's story.
Yeah. Okay. So you just named like 3 resources that we can provide for them.
Yeah. Right.
So, the Masculine Journey Timeline, which is an exercise that we ask guys to engage in at our advanced weekends. Yeah. But it just helps them go back through their story.
Framework.
Yeah. And then the listening guide for men, which is a new YouVersion plan. It's great when guys make the effort and actually take the risk in many ways of sharing their story. So it's just as important that we understand how to listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
And, someone sharing a story and you're not like, well, I had 4 wisdom teeth taken out, and jumping in with those kind of things. So there's a couple of resources right there
100%
that we'd love to provide for you for free.
And that's 4 or 5 get-togethers before you even start the conversation of a resource.
Yeah.
Just to get to know one another.
Each other. We're saying that you are the resource. This
your journey,
this friendship idea, and being known, getting to know one another. That is the objective, is to provide a place where a man there's some safety there. Back to what goes on in Fight Club or what goes on in whatever the name of your tribe is, and so sometimes those things that are in the charter, those things, there will be a time they need to be reminded or enforced. And that's something that I think happens, I wouldn't call a guy out in the middle of a group, but it's going to happen. Right. There's always a guy that is interesting or challenging
or quiet,
or dominating or quiet, So I think after those first few weeks as a facilitator, now you need to address your team, your teammates, the players that are on your team. And
that's right.
And I wouldn't do it in front of everybody, but now you're starting to, hey, Josh, texting, hey, do you have a minute? Something I want to chat with you about.
Can we get a coffee?
Yeah.
Right.
And just to say, hey, I just want you to know, I've observed that you've been really quiet, and I just would like to, is that something, I don't want to call on you, but I want to call you up
Yeah.
And so that's that guy.
Mm.
And then, hey, John, no, as we said in the charter, there's a rhythm to sharing. And I know you've got a lot to share. I know you've got a lot to say. I know you have a lot to offer. But if there's 12 guys
let
in
the other guys up
if
to
there's
bat.
12 guys in the lineup and you're coming up to swing every other time, I just want to invite you to remember, hey, we're doing this together, and these other guys need some airtime.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard conversation to have, and most don't have it. And so their culture gets hijacked.
And guys leave, right?
Yep.
And it falls apart.
Yep, because they just quietly, drift away. I think the last piece, maybe even that's it. Last words, or, what else might you encourage or warn men who are trying to take this incredibly courageous step to create some spaces like this?
Yeah, I'll swing, and then Josh, you kind of, Michael, if you had anything, and then maybe we let Josh land the plane. What drew me together in 2010, I got invited by a guy to go to Encounter in 2009. Went, and as you've heard me share before, half of it I was like, I don't even know what they're saying. I just want to hear more of what they're saying. Brought 8 guys back with me the next year. And then I was able to go back with them and start this journey together, right? So coming to the Encounter is a great idea. It's April 16th through the 19th of 2026. So you got a little time to plan. You can shoot me an email, scott@zoe.org, if you've got questions about the event, where is it? And, what's the deal with that? But going to that together, especially if you just launched a group in January, it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's great, man. That is really good. The amount of stories we've had from guys that this thing has just taken off when they've been able to bring their band of brothers in.
Yeah, I forgot to say earlier to that point, I heard guy after guy after guy after Advance say, man, I got brothers for life, and I can't believe it's only been, 3.5 days. And we've seen that happen in the Encounter too.
Yeah, I think what landed on me was, can't remember where I heard it from or read it, but essentially the greatest pain I've ever experienced was in community, and also the greatest healing.
Sure.
And it kind of makes me think of what Lewis wrote about love and pain, and vulnerability. And that's how you know it's real and you're willing to experience that. And I would just say, man, I think at the end of the day, if we were to pinpoint one of the things that's in the way from this taking off, and you just nailed it earlier, but I just want to reiterate it, is just the willingness the courage, that's a better word, the courage to risk. Mm-hmm. Because it's worth it. Not that it's not painful, not that it's not opposed, not that it's not messy, but man, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. And that you don't have to do it by yourself. So I'll say this and then kick it over to MT to land the plane. But December the 10th, 8:00, go to zoe.org/allies to sign up for our roundtable, online roundtable. And as I mentioned in the promo, at 7:30, you can join early for a little pre-show. Meet and greet, connect, a chance for you to share your story. I'll be doing some giveaways so that 8:00 we can jump into the content of, the next steps. But I would love to have you be a part of that if this at all pulls a chord in your heart. So,
and I think we're going to record it too, are we not? For those who might be working or something like that, but do what you can to be there for sure.
There was a question in the show notes that I'd love to land with, and it had was phrased like, so how do you keep this going after the first few weeks? Because I think, again, starting is not as difficult as sustaining. And I would just offer a couple things as the facilitator guide and the experience I've had. One is you need to get all the guys on a roster. I mean, whoever came through the door, whoever they came with, if they're stepping into that, you've shared the charter, you've got to collect at least their email and their cell phone number.
Yep.
And let them know that, hey, we're gonna connect through the week, because that's a big part of what this is: connecting with each other, being supported, having friends, and friends talk about the Chiefs and send the funny memes and all that. But I think that.
But they're also there for each other when it gets hard.
So that's right. If you can establish some things in communication where, and there's going to be a guy who's like, man, you guys are blowing up my phone. Yeah, I mean, deal with that guy and say, man, hate to have you leave the group, but we're not dialing down the
connection,
the communication.
Yeah.
But yes, I understand. And if that number 27 on your little app icon just bugs the crap out of you, like, let's talk a little bit about your relationship to efficiency and the in and out box. But I think that's just critical. It's can you offer, in my opinion, something more than maybe the class or the curriculum or the academics? Can you offer communication? Can you share, lead the way in sharing? Can you share during the week? Hey, I just wanted you guys to see this cool thing that I gave my son. I wanted you guys to see and hear what I heard that Josh did. I mean, if you can be a little bit of a wire of information and invite them into that and set that pace a little bit, it's likely going to be engaged with. And I'm on a few of those groups, and I get, a bunch of texts from a bunch of guys in some of the different segments of my world and of my day-to-day. And they more than often bring a smile, sometimes an eye roll, but, and you know who you are. So
yes, we do.
Yeah. And so, but that's the part of this that I think, how do you keep this going? How is this sustained? There's got to be regular, invitation, input, broadcast, sharing. And I think outside of the week that you're together and that time, the more organized you are and the more intentional you are about kind of keeping lines of connection open and somewhat fostered a bit, I find that to be over the top helpful. Even affirming, acknowledging, hey, I just want to circle back and just say thanks to SJ for what he shared a couple nights ago. That was fantastic.
Yep.
So the level that you are engaging, I think, is an invitation for them to see, oh, that's how you can do this.
Yep.
And maybe they'll follow you because you're loving and leading well.
Yeah. The beautiful moment is when they just do it and you get to sit back and watch.
I
It's
know.
awesome.
It is the best. Yep. I hope this series has been helpful. If not, email us and we'll swing at it.
Email Michael.
Email MICHELLE.
MT at Zoe. No, that's not it.
Yeah. MIKAL.
Yeah.
So, but I
Put it up on the screen, Andy.
Yeah. Lastly, I would say, man, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It's
Give
worth
it a shot. What have you got to lose? But I think the men who are waiting for somebody in the line of volunteers to step out and say, I'll do it. Hopefully this has been helpful to how to do it, why to do it. But if you're that guy, we tip our hats, raise our glass and say, we've been waiting for you, man. And we'd love to walk with you. You can sure walk with us. We'd love to encourage you. Do it. If not with us, somehow, some other way. But if you're watching these podcasts, in order to be prepared to do that, this is hopefully the beginning.
Yeah.
Become an ally, sign up for base camp. It's not a problem. There's no lack of resources. What there is a lack of is good men who will step and say, I'll do it. So we'll see you next time on the Exploring More podcast.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.